another video, and today I'm going to be reacting to Moist Critical Debate Brand. Let's get straight into it.
Insulting customers that are freaking out at customer service workers for a myriad of different reasons, slight inconveniences, or just a bunch of hogwash. I can't stand when someone has this meltdown and takes all of their frustration and anger out on customer service workers who are just doing their job and they've done nothing wrong. I cannot stand it.
Right.
Whatsoever.
He's made a couple videos on that in the past, and I've watched most of them off stream. Off reactions, of course.
So I've always made it a point to make a video insulting that customer melting down, making fun of them, and just pointing out why that kind of behavior is unacceptable. And I never really view that kind of content as a hot take or controversial at all. I feel like most sensible people should be on the side of the customer service worker here, because how could you ever be on the side of just the whiny little diaper-soiling baby that's freaking out over nothing? It doesn't really compute in my little noodle up here.
Exactly, it's just something that they do because they can, I guess. Which they shouldn't be able to, it shouldn't be so. But it's easy to find little things to nitpick at when it comes to, like, you know, fast food service, you know. Even the smallest thing, it's easy to nitpick at it and make it a big deal.
Here. So to me, this kind of content should never really be controversial, because anyone with a functioning frontal lobe should be able to recognize that this kind of childish, aggressive outburst over nothing directed at the employees is completely uncalled for. But we live in crazy times, and it seems like there's a lot of people paying a visit to Stupid Town, and, well, somehow a video I made 8 days ago has turned out to be quite divisive. And by that I mean there's one guy who's really upset about it, and it's the perfect example of something I was recently talking about, where everything is a debate now, even the safest things ever. That should never be a debate. So the video is the one I posted 8 days ago about this loser that was melting down in a McDonald's drive-thru.
How could you debate this at all? He was all the way in the wrong.
Because they refused to serve him
Makes no sense.
cup,
There's nothing to debate.
A cup of whipped cream that he was going to give his dogs. And it's not an item they actually have on the menu,
That was a
but it's
banger.
something a few employees in the past had went ahead and given him. So he felt entitled to receiving it, and when he was told no, he wouldn't accept it. So he whipped out his phone and started recording his own cringe compilation here, where he was just teary-eyed and really upset that they wouldn't give him the pup cup, so he started yelling at him, causing a commotion, making a scene,
Right.
a big stink over being told no.
And it's not on the menu, so they're not obligated to give it to him, and they're not supposed to give it to him. So he basically, in the other one, he snitched on him
to the
too.
pup cup. Eventually, the cops had to be called, and he got trespassed. So I posted a video making fun of this individual, and I thought that'd be the end of it. Just wash my hands of it. Just another piece of shit. Some dumb asshole made a fool of himself. I made fun of him. You know, standard procedure. I thought if anything would come from this, it'd be this guy making a video about me on Facebook saying that I work for the deep state shadow government trying to push the anti-pup cup agenda or something. But that's not what happened. What actually happened is a YouTuber took a huge issue with what I was saying about this guy being upset over the pup cup. And I know it's ridiculous, but I couldn't resist the urge to talk about it because it encapsulates exactly what I've been discussing again, where it seems everyone is so debate-brained, where everyone is looking for fights, even on subjects where it's really impossible to do that.
Right.
Like this. There is no nuance to this topic. The customer here was wrong for getting aggressive and yelling when being told.
If he's a YouTuber, I'm assuming they made a video. How long was that video, and how did you... What is there to debate about? I don't understand.
That business is
Like, what is he saying? Is he saying that
we don't.
them not giving them the pup cup was wrong? If so, that's just the stupidest take I've ever heard in my life.
Cups, we will not serve you a pup cup, please leave. They were 100% in the right. The customer is wrong for the way he responded to that. There's really no way of even having a sound argument for the other side, and yet, for some reason, this guy makes a whole video about it on how wrong and stupid I am for
How?
it. Like, it just doesn't make sense how any situation now is somehow debatable. It's just... It's poison. It is a literal poison that has swept through the entire internet, and I think this is the best example of it I've seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a successful business, all you have to do is literally do the opposite of what Moist Critical is talking about in this video. He could not be more wrong if he tried. It's actually a miracle. I don't know if this is satire. I don't know if he's joking. Doesn't seem like it. He seems like he's pretty riled at this customer. But let me educate Charlie on something.
I can't stand his voice.
Because clearly he's living in a
It's
bubble.
messing with
I
my
hope
head.
everyone's got their pen and paper out here for the lecture. We're about to be educated by one of society's brightest. This is clearly a being with supreme intellect, and he's being gracious enough to open that big brain of his up to us to share a little bit of his wisdom on how to run a successful business, or what a successful business should look like.
The reality is that if you're a business and you have competitors, and those competitors have a large social media presence as well, and all of them are sort of at an equilibrium, when you do something like, hey, we don't allow pup cups for dogs at McDonald's, doesn't even matter the guy's reaction, that in and of itself is bad for business.
It's just not bad for business at
It's
all.
not.
This is not an item that's on
It's not on the menu, so why would you expect it?
their menu. This is an item that some nice employees decided to give this particular asshole, and he immediately felt entitled to it for the rest of his fucking life. There is no obligation for a business to fulfill a request from a customer for something that they don't offer. This seems like it's derived from the saying, the customer's always right, which is only half of the full phrase there, but a lot of people bastardize that and use it as a way of making it seem like the customer is infallible, so every request they make needs to be fulfilled. If the customer asks the employee to dance, they gotta dance. If he asks them to jump, they have to ask.
It's so stupid, right? Like, they're not always like, chill out. Like, no. Of course you're supposed to be nice, hospitable, and like, not just stone face all the time. But it's you're not supposed to take it that far and just do whatever they say and let them just walk all over you, technically.
Ask how high. And I think that's super stupid.
The perception of that, dogs aren't welcome at McDonald's. Do you understand? You have to take your feelings out of it. I don't care how triggered you were that this guy was mildly irritated.
Mildly irritated, huh? Yelling through a drive-through window while recording yourself and waiting for the cops to come so you can continue to be heated the entire time is
It sounds like he was bored. Sounds like he had nothing to do.
only a mild irritation. I am super curious to see this guy's outbursts, if he considers that mild. Also, the perception that dogs aren't welcome at McDonald's. Who the fuck in the entire world would see this video and be like, oh my god, it looks like dogs aren't welcome at McDonald's. They didn't give this guy a pup cup. Oh no, it's time to boycott McDonald's. Holy shit.
Exactly. Everybody's still gonna go back to McDonald's, bro, and leave that dog in the car. Cause why would you even have a dog in a fast food restaurant? That's like a safety hazard, and that's hella nasty for some dogs too. I get that some dogs are clean, but some dogs people don't take care of their dogs and they're dirty. And imagine somebody don't know how to control their dog and they run in the back, start eating all the food.
You'd have to be legitimately taking a moron potion to think that for even an iota of a second. And yet somehow this guy presents it as like a sound argument that this is going to give the perception that this business is not welcoming to dogs. And it's a fucking restaurant. Dogs aren't even
It's for humans. It's not for dogs.
allowed inside, unless of course it's like a service animal or something. So I mean, if there was ever a business where you wouldn't want animals in there, it's probably a fucking food service business in the
Exactly.
first place. But still, that's such a reach here. It's crazy.
That he was inconvenienced. And when she started freaking out and making the situation worse, and by the way, that woman should be fired. She is a detriment to business. You can't have somebody that
I
disagree.
do think it's some people do bring some dogs in stores, which is available for some stores, I think. But I just think that shouldn't be as there for any store at all, because it's not that it's not safe. It's just not ethical, because they will most likely knock something down unless they're trained. Of course.
Aggressive, that
But you
argumentative.
don't know
This
that.
portion is just downright delusional, and I have to wonder if he even watched the same video, and if he did, if his mind is somehow rotted and he's in fantasy land. He's describing the McDonald's manager as
I
aggressive.
feel like he just wanted to I feel like he wanted to just disagree with Charlie. That would make a lot of sense. I just think he wants to disagree with him.
And freaking out. Let me go ahead and show you her whole interaction here, where she doesn't even raise her voice at him or anything. Just tells him no, and then eventually says, give me a phone so I can call the police, which is a totally reasonable course of action, since
We already
this
seen this part in the other
fucking
video,
won't
but
leave
I'll
the drive-thru and it's holding up
I'll watch this one.
Every time I come here, it's do you not understand? It's just a little cup of whipped cream. Why would you give me a pup cup?
Because we don't got new pup cups to stamp you.
Bull came here yesterday and got a pup cup. She's calling the police.
Somehow the YouTuber says that she was the one freaking out and being aggressive. Meanwhile, the guy who starts yelling and hollering at the McDonald's drive-thru window was only mildly irritated.
Right.
What the fuck?
All she would have to say is, well, you know what? Usually, we don't allow, pup cups, but we're going to make an exception because your dog looks really good. I'm going to give it.
No, you just want to kiss ass or slit or mate or slit. I don't know what you want, but if it's not a part of my job, I'm not doing it for you. Like, they already probably don't want, that lady probably don't even want to be there in the first place. You know, fast food workers don't even want to be at their job. They're just there for a quick buck most of the time. So why would they go beyond out their way for a customer that's rude as shit? Makes no sense.
Give it to you. That'll be $1.
Why? Just because you might live your life being treated like a doormat and let people walk all over you doesn't mean
Right.
everyone else needs to live that way. Again, this is not an item that they offer on their menu. They don't need to bend over backwards and get spit on by a rude customer and then satisfy that request with a smile on their face. It's not bad for business to decline a douchebag like this.
That is the intelligent, effective way to handle a situation. Moist Critical is giving you very bad advice. If you take his brain-rotted advice, which is the advice I would expect from an entitled...
He's been doing a whole lot of saying nothing. Like, every point that he said is not even a point. I don't know. I don't know what is the point of this video.
This statement right here had me giggling and flared up my acid reflux because of how
Surprised they even caught Charlie's attention. It's just a whole bunch of nothing.
He called me an entitled Twitch streamer, thus expected this take from me. Meanwhile, he has the gall to proudly, publicly defend this loser who is freaking out because he didn't get the pup cup he believed he was entitled to, and he is so upset about that he is now trying to bully the establishment into serving it to him because he believes he deserves it. You goober, do you not recognize that you are actually defending textbook entitlement? Meanwhile, I am actively arguing against it, saying that entitlement is bad and unacceptable. How can you not piece this together? How are these dots not connecting in your brain?
You have to make
Yeah, I just feel like I said before, he just wants to disagree.
that person feel special. It's why Chick-fil-A does so phenomenally well. Doesn't matter what time of day you go to Chick-fil-A, the person there is always going to make you feel special. They're going to make you feel nice. That's the purpose. Doesn't matter how they're feeling. Doesn't matter what they may be going through. Because at the end of the day, you're at a choice.
They're not getting paid enough to put aside their feelings. I'm sorry. It's just simple as that. Like, act your wage. That's what I'm saying.
This fat, obnoxious old black lady made everything worse.
Unless you have room to
Jesus
grow.
Christ, yikes. I cut out a bit of his rant here where he was trying to educate me on how businesses work. Retail is a people business. You gotta be good with people for it to succeed. And then he goes into why Chick-fil-A is successful. He gave us the secret formula there. The reason Chick-fil-A is successful, according to this individual, is because the workers are nice. I guess that's the only reason. Is that really the only reason? I mean, yeah, the Chick-fil-A workers are always super sweet, but if the food sucked, the business wouldn't be around
Right.
very long. Because you still need a good product. And it's not like in this video, the workers did anything wrong. He takes a huge issue with the manager here for some reason when she did absolutely nothing wrong. She just said no to a customer's request for an item that they don't normally offer, which she has every right to do and should do. You shouldn't be encouraging customers to just come make all kinds of requests from your business for things that you don't actually have or normally do. That opens yourself up to a lot of problems. Like, it's not like anything was done wrong or unprofessionally. She handled it very well. She didn't raise her voice, didn't change her tone, wasn't disrespectful. And yet still somehow, this guy's portraying her as some kind of villain. And that they're not good at interacting with people. What they should have done is offered this guy a fucking cock massage as well, on top of giving him...
Yeah, she's very good at interacting with people. You know, someone like me or any normal person, I feel like would have probably yelled back.
10 pup cups.
Because after a while, that just gets annoying. And he was sitting right there for a while because he waited for the whole police to come and everything.
Talking about, this man is delusional. Absolutely delusional.
Now, if some kids start pouring food on the floor and throwing milkshakes and acting a damn fool, then you can get upset. This guy was merely asking for an item, was a bit frustrated because he had gotten this item before and for some reason you're denying him, and then you go to threatening the police. if you're like critical and you think that that's a good idea, that's an appropriate way, you're retarded and you have no business being in any sort of industry.
Goodness gracious, with the way that this guy talks about the Pup Cup Crusader, I have to wonder if they're related or if they're dating or something, because he is so sweet and coddling to this asshole who was literally yelling in the video.
Right.
He just keeps saying, oh, you know, he was mildly frustrated, which is understandable because he came to this establishment in the past and got served the Pup Cup, and now he got mysteriously denied.
So just wait. So they gotta control their emotions, but just because you're a customer, you could just go off the rails anytime. Doesn't matter. They have to take that shit. It doesn't matter. They have to take it.
Irritated, which is not at all what happened. Like, you just have to watch the video that's being talked about, and you'll see that he's not just mildly frustrated or something. And if you watch the video, you'll know the reason the cops were called is because he refused to move after being told no for the 1,000th fucking time.
Right, he was holding up the line.
What else are you supposed to do? You can't run a business when this guy is literally blocking it from being, you know,
Man, call Ronald on this man. Wait, was that McDonald's? Yeah. Call Ronald on this man.
Engaged with. And again, not everyone likes to be disrespected and walked all over. So I think it's perfectly reasonable to have this guy trespass when he refuses to fucking leave. It's not like they called the cops just because he asked for a pup cup. It was much more than that. It was his behavior after the fact. But this guy just doesn't get that. And he's debating something that is impossible to debate without just making shit up, which is exactly what this guy's doing. Accusing the McDonald's manager of being aggressive and freaking out, saying she needs to be fired. It's saying how bad for business all this is and how people might perceive McDonald's to be unsafe for dogs or unwelcoming to dogs or whatever. And then saying like the customer was totally in the right and was only mildly irritated.
He was in no way in the right.
Frustrated.
I'm not gonna keep on repeating myself though. I was gonna say something, but it's like a repeat but I said it a little bit.
Because he's trying to make an argument for something that you can't even argue for. And I feel like that is so common on the internet right now. Taking things that have no nuance and trying to interject nuance into them by just completely making shit up with it.
Let me tell you something. If I went to a fast food restaurant and I asked for a pup cup, and she's like, "Oh, we're not doing pup cups. We don't do that." And I'm like, "Oh, I was here last week, and they sort of did that. When's the change?" And then she goes, "You're combative. I'm going to call the cops." And then I'm like, "I'd probably stay here too." I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" Now, is it the smartest thing to do? No. The smartest thing would be to get out of there. However, there comes a moment where you're confronted by such sheer stupidity.
I put the video in 2x speed because I just couldn't handle more of the yapping. He just keeps going on and on about how wrong.
Right, I'm glad because I couldn't handle his voice.
Or manager was in this video, and the least surprising thing he says is that he'd probably do the same thing, perhaps. More of the yapping.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Going on and on about how wrong.
We'll just let it play, but I'm sorry. I did.
Was in this video, and the least surprising thing he says is that he'd probably do the same thing, perhaps, if he was told no to a pup cup. He is literally just lying about the video. It's not like the woman said no, and then when the guy was like, "Oh, but I got this before," and she immediately threatened to call the cops. This guy started recording after this had already escalated from this guy being a rude asshole. He starts recording in the middle of her telling him no for the millionth fucking time, and he won't leave. He refuses to leave.
And she was still calm.
Besides either just giving this guy his pup cup, which I don't think would be the right call at all, or just getting the police there to get him out, so that way the business can continue to run. The sheer stupidity is solely on the customer here, who refuses to fucking leave and just go to another restaurant that offers pup cups, or even better, going and buying his own whipped cream so he can make his own pup cups.
Yeah, he said that in another video. He could just buy his own whipped cream.
Those would be the sensible decisions for a rational, not lunatic. Those would be what someone who is not entitled would do. But this guy and the YouTuber, clearly, both seem to be extremely entitled. He just keeps going on and on about how wrong she was and how this is how business should run, do what the customer asks as long as it's a reasonable request, even if it's not something you typically offer. It's just ridiculous. It's very stupid. But it's exactly what I talk about when I talk about everyone being debate-brained. This is like an impossible to argue angle. And the only way he even tries to cobble together anything almost coherent is by lying about what's in the video itself. The manager was not aggressive. She was not
at all.
She was not freaking out. And her first course of action...
Oh my God.
Just not freaking out. And her first course of action was not calling the police immediately upon the pup cup request. That was her last resort. Do you think that's something that they'd like to do?
Yes, she was right there they were right there talking for a while, screaming at each other, and he was holding up the line.
very disruptive to the business. So it's clearly not something that she wanted to do, but felt there was no other option because she didn't want to just give this customer the pup cup, because even if she did, he still might not fucking leave. He'd sit there, record, and try and embarrass and belittle them even further. So calling the police is a sensible decision that she made for the business. He also criticizes her for not de-escalating the situation, even though she did try, by just saying, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. If they gave you that, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. She is not raising her voice. She is not escalating the situation. She is just telling him point blank, no. There's nothing wrong with that. That should de-escalate the situation because that should put the kibosh on it. You're getting a no.
Should have just drove off.
The fuck on. But he couldn't. He refused to. So she did what she felt she needed to do. And I do think that was the right call. If you let yourself get trampled by rude fucking customers, you're setting yourself up for disaster further down the line. That would be bad for business. But her calling the police, that's not. It is not bad for business. This was bad for this individual and a really bad look for you to be trying to make some argument out of something that's so cut and dry and so easy.
The fact that he posted it, like, bruh, you don't see what you just did and how wrong it was after. Because I'm pretty sure he probably watched the video after, probably shared it with his friends and stuff before he posted it.
Who's in the right and wrong. There is really no nuance to this at all. He's trying to use this as like an educational moment, like, this is how a business should run. And Charlie is super wrong when he says that, the customer was wrong here. In fact, the manager was the one that's wrong, and here's why, because this is how businesses need to operate to be successful. And it is super fucking dumb. There is just no good argument to be made in this debate, because there shouldn't even be a debate about this topic at all. But that is just the current climate of every type of anything that exists online.
Right.
Everything has a divisive nature to it now. It's crazy to me that even something as simple as a customer being a temper tantrum throwing baby man is somehow like, well, there's actually more to it. He was in the right, and here's why. And you just make some dumb shit up about it to support the other side of this issue.
That's what half debates are now.
It's so weird to me. So weird. And I just thought this was the perfect example of that trend. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.
Alright, y'all.
There's a genre of content that
Alright, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.